Okay, so we're about to kick off. I want to thank everyone for attending, everyone who's here today. And I want to thank everyone who's tuning in online. Much appreciated. Thank you for taking this seriously and getting on board to hear what's going on. Okay, so first of all, I was going to introduce ourselves. I'm the CEO. I'm Freedom Zampladis, Freedom Tariq Zampladis, the CEO of Urban Equestrian Academy. I'm joined on the panel with a few of the team, and we're joined with an audience here of members, supporters, and people who obviously have a concerned, shared interest in relation to what's going on. So, what I'm going to do first of all is just give you a bit of a brief background in relation to how we got into this situation. So, Urban Equestrian Academy has been running for approximately 4 years. We started in 2017. For the last 2 years, we've been independent, which is our long-term aim, our long-term vision is to have our own inner-city equestrian academy where we can basically, deliver equestrian services. So 2 years ago, we went on this journey of independence. That journey of independence started off in Kirkby Mallory, about 14 miles away, where we basically had an opportunity to rent a small yard. We wanted to challenge ourselves to see if it was possible for us to literally do this ourselves. Before that, we used to fill a minibus from the African Caribbean Centre with young people and take them out to equestrian centres that we work in partnership with. But we got tired of doing that, and we needed to do it ourselves. So we found this yard in Kirkby Mallory. Now, we was in Kirkby Mallory for approximately 9 months, and the aim was always to be there for between 6 to 12 months. Because again, our intention is to bring horses closer to the city, We didn't really want to be all the way out there. But we learned a lot from that experience. We learned so much so that I believe that's probably why you're thinking I'm very calm today, because I went through hell during that experience, and it kind of prepared me for where we are today. We went through hell, not just myself. So when we was in Kirkby Mallory, we facilitated so much. The business grew massively. It was at Kirkby Mallory that we had the young man Kanan Francis join us, and it was Kirkby Mallory that allowed him to flourish and take himself to where he is now in Newmarket, where he's now an actual amateur jockey working on his professional license, hopefully racing next year on Channel 4 and all the rest of it. But also, it was Kirkby Mallory that really kind of, gave us the harsh realities that we would come to face in terms of racism, bigotry, a feeling of not being wanted, a lot of pressure. It was Kirkby Mallory that kind of introduced us to that world and what that was all about. So, Kirkby Mallory, while we was in Kirkby Mallory, we had some very horrible, nasty neighbours. We didn't appreciate the fact that there were many black and brown people in the city folk now around their area. And we was on the receiving end of complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint, to the point that Hinckley and Bosworth Council got involved. We were served with a prosecution notice. We was racing against time to find a new place to move to. We experienced all of that, but we handled that and we managed it really well. So, in the process of looking for a new place to go, because we was coming towards the end of our time there, we needed to find somewhere else to go. We was desperate to find somewhere else to go and continue this journey of independence. One of our members, who happened to live in the Scraptoft area, must have been riding down Covert Lane and came across a set of stables. And he told me all about these stables. Really, really excited. Tariq, I found some stables, amazing. So we approached the owner, or he did, the person who found these stables. He approached the owner. We went, had a meeting, and met the owner. And he took us around the whole place and all the rest of it, and it was an amazing place. At that time, we actually wasn't ready for that move at that time. Moving forward, we now had to find a place. We were searching many different places and all the rest of it. Came back around about this place called Scraptoft Hill Farm. And I went to go and see the owner, Mr. Nelson Renner. And he was quite a strange dude, quite a strange dude. And I explained to him that, you know, we needed to move some horses and so on. I explained to him what it was we was doing, who we were, and where we wanted to go. But at that particular point, all we wanted to do was just move the horses for a little period of time. He said we could do that. Brilliant. And he had his own vision kind of thing, you know, in terms of what he wanted to do. He explained at the time that his stables was not, he wasn't allowed to rent his stables out for private use and so on. Sorry, for commercial use. He was only allowed to rent his stables out for private use and so on. And he explained that if he was to, you know, rent them out to us, then if we wanted to run a commercial business, because we really like the idea of division, you know, you could see pound signs, basically, that we would have to apply for planning permission and stuff like that. But anyway, we move on. That's how we ended up at Scraptoft Hill Farm. We moved our, how many horses did we have at the time? I think we moved. At that time, we only had like 3 horses. We went through a little bit of a situation, so there's about 3 horses that we moved at the time. So, moving on, I'm going to give you a bit of a background to who Mr. Nelson Renner is, who I am. It's really important. I'm going to tell you who I am first. So, my parents come from the Caribbean. My mother is from Jamaica. My dad is from Antigua. And I lived in Antigua for 5 years. I remember before, when all of this was starting, we had a meeting. I had a meeting with Mr. Renner, Mr. Nelson Renner. And it was a meeting with myself, a young girl who had just come on board called Darby Murphy, and Mr. Renner. And he was asking many questions, question after question after question. And one of the questions he asked was, where are my parents from? And I explained where my parents are from. And when I said Antigua, his eyes lit up. And this particular aura came about him. I was like, okay, that's a bit funny. He went on to say, I have something to tell you. And he went on to say that he had been to Antigua a few times, visited Antigua a few times. And he asked me, so you must know Nelson's Dockyard? And I said, yeah, I know Nelson's Dockyard very well. That's where all the English tourists go, and they all go and party and drink up, and it's like a very touristy place of the island, very posh. He goes, well, you know Nelson's Dockyard? Nelson, and the person you can see on your screen behind me, his name is Horatio Nelson. Horatio Nelson was an admiral. He used to fight against the French and the Portuguese and stuff like that. And all of them used to trade slaves and stuff like that. Yeah? He went on to say he's a direct descendant of Horatio Nelson. That's how he got his name, Nelson Renner. Very interesting. He said to me, he's very ashamed of the fact that he was linked to such a person. And I said to him at the time, well, listen, we all have a past, you know, you're here in the present, don't be ashamed, you know what I mean? Obviously you're connected in the way you're connected, you can't help that. But you know, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to change your history by working with the likes of myself and the team and helping us do what we want to do, kind of thing. He agreed with that, cool. It's important that I mention that because a lot of the land which is owned in the UK, in England, has links to the slave trade. A lot of it has been granted to them off the riches off the backs of black people, yeah? And there's something called land reparations that, you know, a lot of us are fighting for, a lot of us believe we are entitled to, okay? I'm just saying that for historical purposes. Moving forward, Mr. Renner, incidents, okay? So, the news never mentioned it yesterday in terms of why we have been kicked off, evicted from Scraptoft Hill Farm, okay? A lot of comments flying about all over social media where people are saying, this isn't linked to racism, it's anything but racism and this, that, and the other, I'll make you make your own conclusions, okay? Because what a lot of people don't understand is, and I'm talking a lot of white people don't understand, is they don't really understand racism. Racism isn't just something where you don't just want to work with a black person because you don't like the black person or the Asian person and da-da-da. You understand me? That's one form of racism. There's many different forms of racism. One form of racism is something called, well, I'm not an expert in them things there, so I'll call it this. When a person is like a sleeping racist. You don't know you're racist until something happened and then your true colours come out, so to speak, okay? Again, I'm gonna make you, draw your own conclusions, okay? Okay. Renee, could you put up the incidents? Share your screen for me. Just bear with us. Like this one. While she's finding it, I'll go through some of the incidents, okay? So during our time at Scraptoft Hill Farm, we've had to put up with a lot of rubbish, okay? And I'm gonna go through some of the rubbish. So, these are all incidents recorded, these are all incidents between myself and Mr. Renner, except for the first one. I'm just going to give you an understanding of the kind of, environment or kind of person that we've had to deal with, okay? So, Renner family incidents, okay? Mr. Renner would continuously come to the stables, whistling with his hands behind his back in an intimidating fashion, asking us if we had done this or done that, often for no other reason than just to cause a reaction or just to say something, okay? Also bear in mind that all of these incidents and so on happened after Scraptoft Hill Farm alongside Urban Equestrian won our planning permission case to turn the stables from private use to commercial use. The whole behavior environment changed, okay? So like I said, he would often come to the stables, hands behind his back, whistling. He'll always make you know he's coming because he'd always be whistling. So you'd actually hear the whistle before you actually see him, okay? And it used to annoy me a lot, that did, yeah? And yeah, he would engage in some kind of conversation. Anyway, during our time there, our tenure there, I remember Mr. Renner once came to me while I was mucking out, and he engaged in a conversation, and he said this to me, it really stuck in my mind. He said to me, because a lot of the local residents used to tell me, oh, how'd you get on with Mr. Renner? How did you manage that? Da-da-da. You know, he's a bit of an oddball and this, that, and the other. He's been, you know. So he said to me once, many people accuse me of being racist, but at least I admit it. He said that to me, okay? Okay, fair enough. Continuing, dog. There was a time when COVID had finished kind of thing, we just reactivated our programs, young people had started to come back to the yard for AJPC sessions, Aziza's Junior Pony Club, Rebel Riders, and as a result, there was a lot of children, a lot of diversity, so to speak. Now, Mr. Renner has a dog, and he would let his dog run all over the place. And this dog used to run up to the stables and literally scare the children and the staff, because, you know, particularly Muslim children and adults, you know, it's not that we don't like dogs, it's just that, you know, within the Islamic faith, you don't want saliva on you and stuff like that. You know, there's certain ethical reasons as to why, you know, we don't engage with dogs like that, so to speak, yeah? So as a result of the dog constantly coming onto the yard, into the tack room, wherever it wants to go, one of our female members of staff went and knocked on Mr. Bennett's door, and went to see him anyway, and kindly asked, would you mind if you just kept your dog either in your house or just in the vicinity of your own yard while we run the sessions? You know, because a lot of the children and staff members are a bit scared of the dog. His reaction was, no, my dog can go wherever it wants. This isn't a Muslim farm, and my dog can go wherever it wants. So that was reported back to myself, obviously as the CEO. I've had to go and see Mr. Renner, and upon me going to see Mr. Renner, we engaged in the conversation that lasted approximately an hour, where he just didn't really understand, you know, why we was, you know, just gently, kindly asking, please can you just keep your dog away from our sessions, you know, and his biggest concern was no, because it's going to be seen as a Muslim farm, as a Muslim thing, and he didn't want that. But with all due respect, after our conversation that lasted nearly an hour, and I'm so glad that at the time my sister was there also, because she kind of gave a different angle, different perspective. There's about 3 of us trying to make him understand, you know, the cultural differences in relation to, you know, this request for police to keep your dog away. He didn't get it, but with respect to him, the dog did appear less frequently, so to speak, okay? Moving forward, Mr. Renner receives a complaint about us driving to and from the stables from a resident. Just one complaint. From probably, you know, maybe hundreds of people or whatever that you see every day. So he requested to speak to me, and I went to speak to him, and he said, I've received a complaint, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to go and tell your staff that every time they come to the stables or leave the stables, they need to wave and smile more at the locals. That was his request. So I very gently, because he's an elderly man, different generation and so on, I very gently said to him, we're not going to do that, Mr. Renner. We smile and wave enough, and if there's one person amongst 50 or 100 people who complains and all the rest like us, I think that's quite good. Mr. Renner decided to kick off, effing and blinding, and stormed off. You don't listen, you will do this, you will do it. And just took off. I took it up with his son. I said, Will, you need to speak to your dad because he's just kicked off. He's asked us to wave and smile more at the locals. I said, I'm not going to tell the team to do that. And he's just kicked off. So Will's come. They have a quad bike that they rally around on this 50-acre farm. As Will's coming, I've obviously called him. Will's got the call. He's coming down that way. Mr. Renner's seen him coming, so Mr. Renner started to storm over to him. I'm coming the other angle. As I'm coming this way, because Will's coming to see me, he's not coming to see Mr. Renner. Mr. Renner doesn't know that. He's coming to see me. So as I'm walking towards Will, Mr. Renner's seeing me walking towards Will and saying, "Go away, what are you doing? Go away. Why are you coming over here? Go away." And all of this, kicking off. And Will's even said to him, "Dad, chill out." And he's just turned around, effing and blinding, stormed off. Okay? So that was the other next incident. On many occasions, Mr. Renner has stated to us, many of the team, that we've been putting his family at risk during COVID-19. No regard for us if we're putting his family at risk, that we're going to be putting our own families at risk. But we're just putting his family at risk for all kind of different reasons. We're not observing the 2 meters. Have you sanitized your hands? You should be wearing masks and all the rest of it. Now, bear in mind, we all get the same information from Matt Hancock, Dominic Cummings, Boris Johnson. We're all getting the same information, you know what I mean? We're all trying our best, you know what I mean? But he seems to think that we wasn't doing it according to how we should have been doing it.
I don't think Matt was either.
Yeah? Okay. This brings me on to the next big thing, the yard board being vandalised. Renee, can you run the video? So, we have on the yard what's called a yard board. Whenever we have new kids come in to the stables for the first time, they have to go through an induction process. And we introduce them to the yard board that has all the rules and regulations in relation to, how they have to conduct themselves and behave on the yard. The yard board was updated to include COVID-19 rules and regulations and guidelines and stuff like that. One day after putting up the yard board, I think it's the second day that it was up, we noticed that the yard board had been vandalised. Someone scribbled all over it, as you can see, and somebody wrote in the corner, "Obey the law." You couldn't even spell obey properly. Yeah? We were shocked, we were stunned. And, we straight away called Mr. Renner's son, because he's a bit easier to deal with. Yeah? So, and said to him, "Yo, look, someone's vandalised our yard board." You know what I mean? What kind of cameras and stuff do you have around here? Because we got our horses and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They can't just be coming and doing this. And he was shocked also. So he said he'll put up extra cameras all around, and we'll catch them if they come back again and whatnot. And we had some plans to put an extra gate at the top and this, that, and the other. The next day, I was stunned to receive a text message from one of our other volunteers. She can't be here today because she's in Spain. But Debris Nichols sent me a text message saying, "Freedom, I've just been approached by Mr. Renner. He's just said to me that he vandalised the yard board." It was him. He vandalised the yard board. Unbelievable. So I sent Mr. Renner a text message saying, "Mr. Renner, I've just been informed that you've just approached one of our staff and admitted to vandalising the yard board." Like, why would you do that? That's disgusting. He didn't text me back or anything like that. I spoke to his son about it. His son spoke to him about it. And at that point, what happened was that, because there was a few other incidents in between then where he was running up on parents in between sessions, screaming and shouting at them, saying they're not 2 meters or this, that, and the other. Yeah? And we certainly was trying our best, like every angle and opportunity, because we're all scared in relation to COVID, you know? So we observed the groups of 6, we observed the 2 meters. Maybe you had an incident where a little kid might have ran and they went 1.9 meters and he would jump on you. "You're not 2 meters!" You know what I mean? Silly behavior. But anyway, Will noticed what was going on and he said, "Listen, Freedom, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take my dad away for a while." He was a bit stressed because obviously everyone was panicking with the COVID and stressed and whatnot. We understand that. Took him away for a weekend. He came back and he said, "This is what we've agreed. I'm now going to take over from my dad in terms of dealings with Urban Equestrian and Scraptoft Hill Farm." Brilliant, appreciated. Let's carry on. 3 months passed. Didn't really see Mr. Renner that much. You know, we thought, "Oh, that's good, man. He's chilling out at home, eating good food, you know, watching TV, cricket, whatever else, and not really interfering with the business." Everything's going really well. We had our end of month meetings. Any problems that we had, we would report to Will. Will would get these problems sorted. Everything was running totally smooth, no problems at all. Even Christmas passed and everything was really nice. And then, after 3 months, Mr. Renner appeared again. See, Mr. Renner, I just went to check on the horses. I wasn't even staying on the yard on this particular day. Mr. Renner seen me. And at this point, I had my own little dog, a little puppy. Okay? And he seen me, and he came up to me like this, walked up to me like this. And I thought he was going to be really nice. I thought he was going to say, "You know, I've had a nice break, 3 months, and how's everything going? Everything okay?" You know, I thought he was going to praise his son and stuff like that. But no, he came up to me like this, and he says, "You accused me of vandalising my own property. And that isn't supposed to be here." And he's pointing at the little puppy. It was a tiny little puppy at the time. I was like, "What do you mean?" Well, I came to find out after getting the puppy, I'll cover that first, that when Will first seen the puppy, he said, "Oh, we have a no dogs policy." He never told us this. He had his own dog. Well, he said they have a no dog policy, understandable. In relation to this no dog policy, I said to Will, "Okay, no problem. Okay, it's only a puppy, so on occasions, you know, where there's no one to look after it at home, I might have to just bring it with me, because it's too small to be by itself." He was cool with that. However, Mr. Renner seen me with this puppy and he's just kicked off. Yeah, kicked off. And again, he's talking about with accusing him of vandalising his own wall. So I said, because listen, it's not to do with the wall. The yard board that's on the wall is our yard board with the rules and the regulations on it. That's what you damaged. We're not talking about the wall that you damaged. It's the yard board. And he was kicking off, going mad, And you know, I've just stood up for myself and said, "Listen, man, I'm not having you running up to me, going on with your stupidness, you know, on all of these occasions. We just had 3 months of peace. I thought Will was taking over from you so we can just carry on comfortably doing what we're doing." Anyway, he's kicking off, going and crazy. I'm walking away, and he's took off that way. I've gone this way. Moving forward. We have an anonymous phone call from we have a phone call from Harborough Borough Council, who received a complaint from somebody anonymously saying Ivan Equestrian was still running sessions during lockdown. We stopped all our sessions during lockdown. The only kids who used to come to the yard and only staff members were essential staff members and young people who we call our advanced young people. So these advanced young people, they actually exercise the horses because even though it's lockdown, the horses still have to be worked. So these advanced young people came, they're exercising the horses, and that's the only reason why they were there. We explained, I explained to the officer that I spoke to, the scenario, the situation. He was happy with that. However, it still didn't stop him secretly sending someone from the council to come and see if it was true. So the council officer just turned up one day to check out if what I was saying was true. Looked around, checked everything out, totally happy, totally satisfied with everything we was doing. To the point, he even emailed us an email saying, yeah, came, checked you guys out, I seen what you was doing, it's only essential workers, case closed, nothing to worry about. We sent the email to Will. I actually forgot to pass the email, but anyone can get a copy of it if you want it. Will was happy with that, cool, no problem. However, that still didn't stop Mr. Renner accusing us of putting his family at risk due to COVID-19, this, that, and the other, and then the next thing you know, I was issued with an envelope. Renee, if you can just run it up a bit for me, please. Within that envelope was a notice to quit, to say, Freedom Sample Artists, you are now banned permanently from Scraptoft Hill Farm as of April the 2nd. Okay. Now, bearing in mind, all of this time, for the last 4 years, we've been working with the city mayor to get our own land base, okay? So in my head, I'm just thinking, listen, man, we just need to bide some time before we get this land base. It's coming. It is on. We're getting it. It's coming. And let's just maintain the peace until we get our own land base. Then we can just leave, or we can even be in a stronger position to deal with this guy, so to speak. You understand me? Because not only is the horse's welfare to be thought of at risk, it's also staff members who are getting paid. We have young people who are training. We have apprentices who are learning. You have to take all of that into account. So I sacrifice myself, no problem, because the team has to learn to be independent also. We don't have a plan just to have one equestrian centre. We actually have a plan here in Leicester to have 3 equestrian sites that do different things. And at these 3 different sites will be 3 main people that will basically, run the centres, so to speak. So Scraptoft Hill Farm was to be run by a particular staff member anyway. So what I'm basically saying is that though I got banned, it was more like training preparation for us going independent, getting our other sites and someone being able to run the Scraptoft Hill Farm site anyway. So, from that perspective, we just continued, so to speak, okay? However, the reason Mr. Renner done that was because he's a control freak. He's a bigot, yeah? And he's, like he said himself, a racist, yeah? I'm gonna say it, just for what it is, okay? Now, did the incident stop? Why the incidents? Because of me? Is it my attitude and how I am? And I run around thinking I own the place like somebody commented. Well, make your own judgment based on what I've just stated to you. But if it was the case, then shouldn't these incidents stop after I'm banned? They should. But did they? No. They could say got worse or remained just the same. Because it seems that what Mr. Renner wanted was to get me out the way, because obviously I'm the person that will come back and address any issues. I'm the leader of the whole thing. I have to do that, that's my role. But he wanted to get me out the way so he could bully and intimidate the staff and the children at will. And this is what basically happened after I kind of came out the way, okay? So we've got a few more incidents here, okay? Okay, so here's one here. There's a couple of residents that live above the stables that we rent, okay? I'm sure they live there illegally, yeah? Check it out. Now, these residents have been there ever since we came. And for some reason, it's like a flat above the stables. For some reason, after 8 months of being on site, one day, the residents came down to the stables and kicked off about there being too much noise. They work nights and there's just too much noise. Okay, hold on, mate. It's only 6:30 in the evening. What are you talking about? Mr. Renner knew right from the beginning what we was bringing once we was granted planning permission. We had to submit documents to say all of the programs that would run, the times, the amount of young people. He knows all this information. So, you know, I don't understand why he would grant us this place and then at the same time have residents come down and approach us about there being too much noise. So when he came down and approached us about being too much noise, you know, we simply said, listen, we've never been made aware that we're making too much noise. We've been here 8 months. Why have we not said this from the beginning? Why are you only saying this now? I said to the, Renee, run it up a bit. I said to the guy, I don't even know the people's name. Could they just keep themselves to themselves, you know what I mean? But I said to him, listen, you know, we've got an agreement to rent the stables to run our business. This is what we do. It's only 6:30, you know, I don't really see what the issue is. If there's an issue, I think you need to take it up with the owner. So that's what he did. But as soon as I said, I think you need to take it up with the owner, it's only 6:30, he started to become verbally abusive, effing and blinding. Oh, you're a problem, you are, effing and this, that, and the other. So I said, listen, don't be effing and blinding at me, yeah? Because, you know what I mean, you don't really want to be doing that, yeah? Go and take it up with the owner. So he done that anyway. The following week, the resident came back down again, said the same kind of thing, and there was a few more obvious. And bear in mind, when he approached me the first time and he started effing and blinding, there was kids around. Yeah? The kids were scared, wondering what's going on. You know what I mean? So again, I have to protect the business, protect the organisation, protect the young people. You know what I mean? We're not here to be intimidated or pushed around doing what we have been doing for the last eight months. Anyway, he came down again, kicked off again, all the rest of it. And then off the back of all of that, this is just before I permanently got banned. I was just on my way out. Mr. Renner came onto the yard and he looked at us and he said, why aren't the horses in at 5 o'clock? We're like, what do you mean? Listen, bro, you don't put conditions on us in terms of what time we bring the horses in. You know what I mean? It's very light outside. The horses can stay outside until 9 o'clock if we want them to stay out until 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? But anyway, he's saying to us, you know, you should bring them in. Anyway, he says, because he knew I was banned anyway, I was on my way out kind of thing. You know, he says, anyway, I think Ailina kind of said a couple words at that point also. And he looked at both of us and he said, don't want no trouble. I said, what are you talking about? Don't want no trouble. You know what I mean? I'm going. And he just went, took off. Yeah? Anyway, a couple of days after that, I was gone. Yeah? I was permanently excluded, so I stayed away. Okay? Now, just moving on to some of the incidents that other people faced. Okay, move it up, Renee. Okay, so these are just some of the incidents that other members of staff, young people have faced with Mr. Renner or the Renner family, however you want to say it, okay? So there was an incident, I'll speak on your behalf, yeah? Is that okay?
Sana's actually composing it now, but I've just read it there at the top.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can say is demeanour is exactly how you describe it. You know, he is very rude and he did come across quite aggressive that day as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I can't see it from there clearly, but it's,
Okay, so I'm going to explain it, and you can certainly correct me if you want to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
all right?
Yeah.
By the way, on Sana's
Yeah,
description, yeah?
yeah.
Okay, so the person I'm just speaking to is a parent of one of the young people that comes to our teenage pony club, basically. Quite new to Urban Equestrian and local to Scraptoft also. So we have a parent.
Sorry, Sana's just said to me that she doesn't mind being put on loudspeaker right now if you want to.
Okay, yeah, if you want to do that, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So she can describe exactly to you.
Can you put the mic there so that the...
Hello? Yeah, I'm just going to put you on mic now. Everyone's seeing everything, okay? Just read out, and it's recording as well. I'm going to put you on loudspeaker. Here, just 1 second. Right, you're on loudspeaker.
Hi everyone, I'm really sorry I couldn't make it.
Oh, just one second. 1 second.
I'm just on the bottom of the phone, just towards here. The speaker's on the bottom.
Oh, right, okay, go on. Do you want to test it? Talk?
Hi.
Bring the phone over here.
Yeah, bring the phone here. You can.
Yeah, and then the Zoom
Yeah.
audience
Yeah,
can
just,
hear it as well.
Okay, I'm just handing you my phone.
Thank you.
Just, I think you could.
Do you want to just talk, please?
Hiya. Is it working?
Not
No.
really.
No?
I think your mic was already dead.
Is it done?
Yeah, you were just speaking.
All
and
the
it
phone
was
close to
already
the
dead.
laptop.
It's all very clear, so you don't realise.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, because that's not
I messaged
really.
you saying the mic's dead.
Oh, okay.
Well, we
Okay.
can kind of hear you. Is that one okay?
With the phone close to the laptop.
Seems like
You mean the
speaker's
lights
on.
on?
Yeah,
Okay,
hold it
no.
close to the laptop, yeah? Okay, go ahead and speak, Sana.
Working?
We'll hope it is. Can people hear?
Yeah, we can.
Brilliant, yes they can. Yeah, they can, Sana, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Alright, hi everyone. I'm Dana's older sister. Sorry I couldn't make it, work got in the way as everything was quite last minute. I tried to write a letter of the event that took place as clear as I can remember, so I'm going to read it out now. We started off our journey up to the stables taking Zaina, my younger sister, to her volunteering which she loves to attend due to her amazing passion for horses. Thanks to freedom, she has finally found another place to call home.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Freedom.
Nice one, son.
All right, see you guys later.
All right, take care. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks, Anna.
Okay, so that's a parent and a daughter experiencing Mr. Renner just running up on them, wanting to whip his phone out to take pictures of them. What's going on? Moving on. Ailina, do you want to talk about your experience? Yeah? So Ailina's a member of staff, and she also works for Leicester City Council in a very senior role.
Hi, my name's Ailina Thomas, and as Freedom's just noted, that I'm one of the voluntary staff members at the Urban Equestrian, which I enjoy so much. I love it. I love working with the children. I love the horses. It's just amazing, and since I've started, I've just enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I have had a run-in with Mr. Renner as well, and have witnessed a lot of the things that Freedom has referred to. So my run-in in particular was happened on a Tuesday. It was one of our AJPC sessions, where literally we were just preparing for a hack. So we're getting the horses ready with their saddles on and everything, and then we'll get to mount the children onto the horses. So we literally just got all the saddles ready, and I was just bringing one of the horses around the corner and directing one of the children as to what to do. And then as I just turned the corner, this is still on the yard, just by the grooming station. I just turned the corner and I could see Mr. Renner had been talking to some of the other staff members, you know, that kind of little fidgety kind of feel that he had. And then he ran up to me right in my face, no social distance whatsoever, no mask, nothing. And I was like, okay. So then he said, I want to talk to you about the noise. And I was like, okay. So he went on and he started to explain that he has tenants that live in the building above the stables, and they need to go to sleep at 7 p.m. So I said, okay, well, you know, our sessions tend to they're still running at that time. They finish just after that. So I explained that probably what you heard was, you know, us communicating with some of the children. You know, it's a session. We actually have to communicate with the children. The children have to communicate with each other. We have to keep each other safe. So we can't walk around quietly. So at the end of the day, and obviously we don't make a lot of noise generally anyway. So after that, he said, no, you will do something about it. And I said, okay. So I said, basically, I'll inform the managers so it can be looked into. But as we have a session at this moment in time, would it be okay if, you know, we approach the situation separately from our session that we're taking place now? And then he just proceeded and started shouting with his finger right next to me, no, you ought to listen, little girl. Little girl?
Yeah.
I was like, can you imagine how I felt? I mean, I've got children here who are, he's not necessarily here, but at the time, who were witnessing to this. All the staff members were standing there because we were just literally ready to go on a hack. So I was like, oh my gosh. Obviously, I felt like I want to, react to him, but I just thought, you know what? And after he said that, he literally walked away anyway. I was so upset. It felt so disrespectful. It was unprofessional, humiliating, everything. After that, I was just like, just really upset. And then a lot of the staff members and children, after they just shared their thoughts and said they can't believe that he spoke to me like that. Is this how he is? And a lot of them wanted to make complaints on my behalf because of the situation. So I did actually inform, the management of what happened. And we had a meeting with Will, who said, to be honest, he thinks that children should be playing, and children, or not even playing, sorry, children should be making noise. And, you know, it is an equestrian, so he doesn't see why noise shouldn't be made. So I was like, okay, fair enough. And he said he's going to talk to his dad. So after that, I thought, okay, fair enough. But I still felt, you know, really upset. And to me, it felt like a threat to say something like that. You ought to listen, you little girl. I'm not a little girl. I'm a big woman. I have children. You know, I'm one of the senior members of the Equestrian. To say, you know, to come and talk to me like that. None of the management of the Urban Equestrian have ever spoken to me in this regard. Never. We have uttermost respect for each other. We care, we love, we are a family. And I was just disgraced by how this man dealt with it. And yeah, I was very upset. Also to reiterate a lot of what Freedom has said, I've witnessed some other incidents where Mr. Renner has brought his dog up to the stables and literally he's allowed the dog to run up to the children and you know, sniff them and touch them, and then he'll turn around to us and say, oh, don't touch my dog, you might give it COVID. Huh?
Oh,
what is that? That's so rude. And then yeah, just when Freedom was talking about him coming up and talking about, what else was he saying again? Just so many different things. There's just so many different instances where he's just like, just there, just annoying people for no real reason. So that's my instance.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to the yard, and we have some staff members and young people at the yard at the minute. Hope they're still there. And they're just gonna say a few words. Are they around? Renee?
Could they please raise their hand? I know someone just messaged in the group saying it's so tired.
Yes,
they please
yeah,
raise their hand and I'll unmute them.
Okay.
Sakina, to your left, I think. Yeah.
Hello, I am Sakina and I'm a volunteer at the Equestrian Academy.
Renee?
Everyone's been muted. Now you listen muted.
Hello?
What are they covering right now?
Yeah, just gonna talk from the stable.
Hi everybody, can you hear me?
Freedom.
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't have to
Yeah,
sort out.
Okay, hi, my name is Nayula. And so since it started from the very first lesson, and I just fell in love with it, honestly. We've all become such a big family over the years, and I think what we're doing here is great. And in terms of the members, I think it's disgraceful on their part, just because of the way they've been treating us. Like, I've seen their confrontations from different people, and I feel like it's just been terrible, because no one should be deserved to be treated that way, and I think it's just terrible, honestly.
Can you go across, Renee, to Sakina? So that was Nayula, who's at Saddington. She's currently looking after she's at Saddington, yeah?
No, she's at the Scraptoft.
Oh, she's at Scraptoft, okay. So she's at Scraptoft right now, looking after the horses, sorting out the horses.
My name is Kina, I'm a volunteer at an Equestrian. The current situation with the Brenners, like I've been with the Equestrian for about 3.5 years. Yeah, that's 2.5 years. And it's just very upsetting to see this happen, so it's something I'm very passionate about. And I'm just very angry and annoyed that it was the treatment to the other question and just overall.
Cool, brilliant. Thanks a lot, Sakina. Thanks a lot, Nayula. Okay, we're going to move on to Jamal. So Jamal's up here on the panel, and Jamal's had a few run-ins with Mr. Renner, so kind of put him on the spot. He has a lot of mouth when he's got nothing good to say. Now he's got something good to say. He's frees up. So we're hoping he can say a few words.
Oh yeah.
Can you lift the chair a bit?
I'm Jamal. I don't have anything good to say about Renner, to be honest with you. But I've come across him a lot. Obviously, everyone here, we're like family. Freedom's like my uncle. I've known him before I even started coming, before I even joined U.E.A. So I kind of had a dislike for Renner, hearing about his run-ins and everybody else's. But recently I've had a few run-ins with him as well. He walks around with an attitude, like he thinks he's the baddest around. He likes to call me little boy a lot, and yeah, I don't like to think of myself as little or a boy, or a boy either. Like he forces me. Well, he doesn't force me, but he tries to tell me that I have to refer to him as sir all the time, after every sentence as well, and I think that's kind of weird. Obviously, recently on the Urban Equestrian Instagram, we've seen that we've been asked to move from Scraptoft Hill Farm, and he wanted to put a notice up. So quite mockingly, he's trying to ask me to hold up the notice while he drills it in. And I said no. I said if you want to do that, it's up to you, isn't it? It's your ward. Yeah. So he told me I can't defy him, and it's against the law to defy him on his land. So I thought he was joking, to be honest, because I don't know how he could say that to me. Like, I wish he was my age. More recently, I was walking Blessed. That's one of our younger horses. She's a bit jumpy around cars. And a man in a black Corsa, you know them ones, yeah, black Corsas. He overtook us, and he stopped in front of us and put the window down and told me that Mr. Renner had told him that somebody who matches my description is stealing a horse. So I had to run with it. He's lucky he wasn't my age as well, I'm telling you, it's mine. So I've had a few run-ins with him. I generally, I don't like his attitude when he's speaking to any of the other staff members. To be honest, nobody should be spoken to like that, but it hurts more like, because we're all like family, and it's not really acceptable, to be honest.
Thank you, Jamal. Who's next?
Okay, next we have Sarah. Should we say something? No? Okay, no. So I was shy like that. Just to say, Jamal's one of our apprentices, yeah, so we took him on as an apprentice. He's been with us since January, and as is Sarah, but Sarah's very quiet and very shy, so to speak.
But lovely, absolutely.
A lovely girl. Okay, Hajar, you want to say something? You okay? Yeah? Isa? Oh, you don't want to say, you sure?
No.
Do you want me to talk about what happened with you?
Well,
I'll talk about
Yeah, just mention it.
I'll say like that, yeah? Okay. So we have another young man by the name of Isa Khan, been with us since the beginning. 13 years old, he's one of our advanced young people. Great kid, fantastic rider, gonna go a long way. He recently messaged me on Instagram, because obviously I'm banned. So he messaged me to basically say that, Renee, could you put the incidents back up for me, please? He messaged me to basically say that, oh, Freedom, you know, Mr. Runner, I was putting away Jet's tack, which is like the saddle and the bridle. He just finished riding. He was putting away the bits and pieces, and he said Mr. Renner came to the tack room. And when he came to the tack room, he seen that on the tack room door, there was a Eid Mubarak, like rosette kind of thing, because Eid had just finished. So there's a rosette on the door. And he said to Isa, who put that up on the door? You know, really aggressively. And Isa's just there like, you know, I don't really know, you know. And he's just basically huffed and puffed and stormed off, shaking his head. You know, basically upset because there was an Eid Mubarak rosette on the door. Now, one thing we have at Urban Equestrian is a policy where we include everyone, yeah? If it's Christmas, you see Christmas decorations, Christmas cards, there'll be chocolates, there'll be stuff on the door to do with Christmas. If it's Eid, there'll be Eid decorations up to do with Eid. If it's Kwanzaa, we'll send out messages, you know, regards Kwanzaa. If it's Diwali, we'll send out messages regards Diwali, because we're too diverse. We're not a Muslim organisation, we're not a Christian organisation, we're not a Hindu organisation, we're not a Rastafarian organisation, we're an organisation for everybody. We're inclusive, you know what I mean? So you will find, depending on the time of the year, different types of, you know, references. So this shouldn't upset him, but for some reason, this upset him. And Isa was quite taken aback by it, you know, because the way he responded to me was, he said to me after he mentioned the incident, he says, I don't think he likes Muslims. Yeah? And I agree with him. I don't think he likes Muslims. Yeah? So that's another incident. Okay, so there's other incidents. Mina Carter sent a little write-up, and have you got Mina Carter's one?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure I sent it.
It's in the WhatsApp message to me.
Yeah. So Mina Carter. Mina Carter is basically a parent. Her child comes to our toddler program. So our toddler program is for 3 to 5 year olds. And this was during back, you know, in the COVID kind of thing. And basically what happened was he's seen us go out and he's drove up on his quad bike and he's jumped off his quad bike and he started screaming and shouting, "You're not 2 meters, you're not 2 meters." You know, not realizing that everybody is trying their best to be 2 meters. We are doing the 2 meters, you know what I mean? I don't know what he sees because we're doing that, yeah? And we're in groups of 6 also. I don't understand what he's seeing and what you're saying. Bear in mind, you've got a number of parents, a number of staff members, you know, we all have our own concerns about COVID. If we had an issue, wouldn't we be saying to ourselves, Joe, we need to be 2 meters, we need to be, you know what I mean? He's the only one who's going on about this. So he's gone up in Mina's face, and bear in mind, Mina's not even a staff member, she's a parent, she's just brought her child to the service. She don't know who this man is, where he's popped out from. You know what I mean? Screaming and shouting in her face, "You're not 2 meters." So she's turned around and said, "Excuse me, who are you? You know, what are you talking about?" Because, excuse me, if you think there's a problem with, you know, social distancing and stuff, I'm a parent. Can you please take it up with the company? You know, and he's just stormed off, gone and done his thing. Okay, that's another complaint. Now, there's many more incidents in relation to what we're talking about. All right. The only last one I would go on to talk about is the eviction notice thing. How did that come about? Okay, so in a nutshell, what happened there was our yard manager had an accident, and as a result of the accident, she had to be off for 3 weeks. Now, he's already banned me. I have the most experience. The yard manager is the second most experienced. Everyone after that our volunteers different levels of experience. Our staff team rotate, so there's times when the staff team isn't as strong as it can be, you know. As a result of that, the safeguarding issues, horses ain't a joke, you know what I mean? I've contacted Will, because I can see, you know, what's coming. I've contacted Will and I've said to her, listen, yard manager's injured, I'm banned, you've got children on the yard with horses, you've got horses that need looking after. I'm gonna need to come back down there and fill in relation to any periods of weakness. I'm gonna need to be there, because I can't leave children there by themselves looking after horses. I can't leave inexperienced staff there looking after temperamental horses and so on, okay? Someone's gonna get hurt. Will was just about to go holiday, but what he said was, okay, yeah, I agree with that, common sense. I'll speak to my dad, it shouldn't be an issue. I left that with him, okay? We got on very well in terms of the team managing. Love my team managing. But there was 2 days where the team was weak and was very busy, so I needed to help out. So I've gone down to help out, gone on with it, and I even done it in such a way where I didn't make myself there all day. Just at the periods when I knew they needed a bit more experience, I would pop up, help out, disappear again. Because I know what the dude's like, you know what I mean? And we're trying to keep the peace and stuff, yeah? Anyway, the first day was fine. Got through the first day. I was only there for 2 days. The second day, Mr. Renners approached Sarah and kicked off about something to do with grassland management policy. You're not following our grassland management policy. You know, she's mentioned it to me. I've just said, okay, cool, no problem. When Will comes back, because at this point, Will actually told us to get a complaints book and start writing down every complaint. Yeah. So we wrote that in the complaints book, ready to deal with it for when Will comes back. However, later on in the evening, he's come back and said the same thing and he's kicked off at my daughter. You're not following my grassland policy, da, 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 all of this. And obviously my daughter Aziza is just like, listen, yeah, we're just doing what we've been told to do, yeah? She was like, you need to speak to my dad or Salwa. And he goes, and then he goes, okay, well, I'll wait for your dad to come. Yeah? So I'm at home, because again, I just pop up, do what I have to do, disappear. Because, you know what I mean? I know what's going on, kind of thing. So Aziza's told me, hey, Dad, Mr. Renner's just kicked off and that the other day. Okay, cool. And he said he's going to wait for you when you come and that. All right, cool, no problem. So I've come to pick up my daughter. As I've come, him and his wife is more racist than him. She's worse than him. I'll say it. Basically, just started one hell of a confrontation. Why are you not following my grassland policy? Bear in mind, I've not been here for 3 months. You know what I mean? So whatever's being discussed between them and whatever is what we're doing. I'm just following instruction based on how the team's doing so well and all the rest of it. Kicks off about the grassland policy. Now I know what he's talking about. I know his language. So I'm telling him, da-da-da. You can't really fool me, you understand me? You're talking about, then because I can hold my own, he started picking at, clutching straws, or, you know, them ones, where he started to mention, kicking off about the COVID thing again. Bring up the COVID thing. You know, you put my family at risk, this, that, and the other. Then I'm getting it from him there, this way. I'm getting it from his wife, this way. You know, and again, I'm really calm in this situation, you know, because again, I ain't letting the dude intimidate me. He's not intimidating me. He must be crazy. Can't intimidate me. You understand me? So anyway, closed up the yard, got my utes, went home. Fed it to Salwa, let Salwa know what's going on. She's injured at home. Doctors prescribed her off for 3 weeks, okay? Mentioned it to Will. This guy is so stubborn, so ignorant and bigoted that he don't want me in the yard again. So I said, yo, you know what I mean? Salwa's had to come back off 3 weeks ill, so she only stayed off for 1 week. Came back injured, just because we have to deal with the animals. So she's limping around and stuff, yeah? All because this guy don't want me on the yard. Very unreasonable, yeah? So we tie it up right there, okay? There are the incidents. But as a result of that, Salwa had a meeting with Mr. Renner and the wife, and she actually apologised because she was injured, she had to go to hospital. She actually forgot to tell the staff about this grassland policy thing, yeah? So obviously we didn't know it, kind of thing. So she's apologised, it was a genuine mistake and all the rest of it, and everything seemed back to normal, yeah? Anyway, during this whole process, since we've had the stables, we've never had to ask for permission to buy any horses. We rent that whole unit. We buy horses after we tell them, yo, we just bought a couple of horses, they're coming and that. You understand me? Yeah? So, with our business doing extremely well, and the horses we have being too few, we need a few more horses, and the kids getting so good at riding, they need a few more horses. We've bought 5 new horses. You get me? We've told Will, yeah, we've got this horse coming and this horse coming. He's like, yeah, no problem, cool. He's told his dad's come storming up to the yard. No more horses, you're not having no horses. All of this rubbish, you know? And then literally, the yard managers asked, what are you talking about? Why? Why are you kicking off like this again for? No, that's the end, it's finished. 14th of July, I want you gone. Yeah? So we couldn't bring the horses, we've had to house the horses elsewhere at stables. 2 of our horses we actually have in one of our volunteers' back garden, because he has a big back garden. They're only little, and he really wanted them to come to his back garden. So they're at his back garden, and it's really funny to see actually, yeah? But it works, okay? But 2 of the other horses are 12 miles away. So we now have to split the team, travel 12 miles away to go and deal with them horses up there and deal with the horses at Scraptoft Hill Farm. Very inconvenient, okay? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on anyway to solutions. We're tired of hearing about Mr. Renner. Just the last thing, a meeting was called in relation to this eviction, yeah, that he threatened us with verbally, because we said, listen, you're not just going to tell us that we're leaving. Let's sit down and have a meeting. Yeah, we're fed up of your stupidness anyway, yeah. Sit down and have a meeting, and okay, yeah, we are happy to move on now, because you know what? You're too much, bruv, yeah? We're going to move on. But let's sit down and discuss how we move on. So we compiled what you call an exit strategy. And our exit strategy stated that we will go in 3 months. Like within 3 months' time, we'll go. No problem, yeah? Okay, cool. The meeting was attended by the yard manager, and me knowing what these people are like, I said to the yard manager, Sawa, take someone with you as backup. Take someone with you, yeah? So she took Shireen with her. Shireen and Sawa's gone to the meeting. And one reason why I also told her to take someone with you is because Sawa's French speaking, yeah? And it's good to have someone who's English speaking, first language thing, you know, in terms of, you know, communication and all them thing there, yeah? Good thing I said that, because when Sawa and Shireen turned up to the meeting, expecting just to sit down with Mr. Renner and Will, there were 6 people there. 6 people sitting in a row, mean mugging them. Yeah? Those 6 people consisted of Mr. Renner, his wife, the 2 tenants from the flat, another person who rents a horse stable, and the son Will. Heard what Salwa had to say, ignored all of it, and literally gave her an envelope. And in that envelope, this is what it said. Renee? There you go. So this is what you call an illegal notice to quit. It's illegal. It reads, the Urban Equestrian Academy, their associates, employees, students, volunteers, and horses are today, 14th of the 6th, 21, given notice to quit Scraptoft Hill Farm. The notice to quit period is 1 month from the 14th of the 6th, 21. by which time all of the Urban Equestrian Academy, their associates, employees, volunteers and horses are to leave permanently Scraptoft Hill Farm. All chattels, I don't even know what chattels means, a very posh word for me, are to be removed from the farm and the yard to be returned to approximately the condition it was in on arrival. Bearing in mind that we actually tidied up and cleaned up that yard before we even moved there. So even when we leave, it's going to be in a better condition than when we first arrived. Should any chattels or horses remain after the 14th of July 21, they will be disposed of and the proceeds used to firstly cover costs incurred by the yard, the balance being returned to Urban Equestrian. Bear in mind, we don't have any debts with these people. We pay every single month the rent, and they take a cut of our business profits. Okay? So this is the notice to quit that they basically issued. Okay? So we're going to move on to present situation and solutions. Okay? You want to do it? Go on.
I need to come back and do this. Okay, everyone, so I'm Sharifa, one of the volunteers here at the Urban Equestrian Academy. I'm just going to do this part right now because we're going over time, and I just want to make sure we don't lose people, because we want to let you know in ways in which you can all support us. Everyone in the room is more or less from the community, but anybody else, like just overall, we just need as much support as possible. We need to keep up the momentum. So the campaigns that we are going to launch from today is, the first one is support us today, a pound is sound. So I want everyone to keep up to date with our social media, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram and all the rest of it, and just keep sharing, WhatsApp all your people. So everything that I'm going to say now, make sure you utilize your networks, contact all the people that you know have got money, wealthy people, celebrities, contact the media and the press as well, any media contacts that you have that you think would be good to maybe do a cover of a story on what's been going on, and just to support us anyway, because as well as all these complaints, I think it's really important for people to see the beauty and the successes of the Urban Equestrian Academy, because we've not had enough time to talk about that. And you know, if once you go on the website, you can see all of that, and that should be celebrated. Thousands of people from the inner city, young people, children that would never get access to the equestrian world have had that access, and we need to celebrate that. So we need support to cover overhead costs. At the moment, you know, we've got loads more overhead costs just because of the displacement of our horses, the displacement of our volunteers, all the rest of it. It's just, everything's a mess right now. And Mr. Renner and them, you know, they're not obviously going to contribute. So we need community support at the moment. So support us today. A pound is sound is for you to be able to donate £1 a month. That's nothing. Do you know what I mean? And that's for you to be able to continue to support. That's for people that might not be able to support that much. Donate to the Urban Equestrian Academy. The second project that we're launching on a Just Giving is the Urban Equestrian Academy Land Ownership Fund, Land by Us for Us. Now, the conversation that we've been having and all of this can be a recurring thing, and the upset and the hurdles that the Urban Equestrian Academy are having to face repeatedly, this could be managed if the Urban Equestrian Academy had their own land outside of the city, as well as Freedom will talk later about the inner city, but at the moment we want to make sure that the community are supported to be able to have their own land. That's very, very important. And at the same time, what Freedom was talking about at the beginning, we do need to talk about, aside and alongside all of this, we do need to talk about land reparations. This needs to come under land reparations as well, and land reparations for the Black community in Leicester is essential. This is an organisation that's open to everyone, but we need to make sure we remember it's a Black-led organisation on that front, and the racism that has been faced is on that basis. So we can talk about racism, but there's been a lot of anti-Blackness involved, and we need to go down that route. So land reparations for the Black community in Leicester is essential. So aside from that, please donate to the U.E.A Land Ownership Fund, Land by Us for Us. We will be sharing, I'm sure Renee is posting right now in the chat, all the links and stuff. We need support to put that out. At the moment, I'm gonna, after this meeting, I will be sharing everything on Instagram, Twitter, all the rest of it. Just keep circulating. It's very important. Yeah, and the same thing as well with the donation link in terms of the land ownership fund. We do kind of need to raise at least 10% of what we're trying to raise. At the moment, it's about 150,000 plus, and we kind of need to raise 10% over the next few days, because then that will show people that don't know about the Urban Equestrian Academy that we already have support. You know, at the moment, like some people are new to even knowing about the Urban Equestrian Academy, but our long-term supporters need to know and see that visually. So please send it out, especially to people that, you know, have got money that would want to support us. So yeah, I'm just going to keep that short, and yeah, keep an eye on our social media. Please circulate. Thank you.
Okay, so that's a pound is sound, okay? And a pound is sound basically, again, is what Shiva just literally said it is, okay? It's just to cover the more immediate short-term overheads and stuff like that, like the monthly overheads and so on, okay? Now, you might be saying to yourself, I can pay more than £1. No problem. It's a very simple process. Go click on the link. If you want to pay more than £1, you can do that. But basically, it's £1 a month minimum. £1, that's £12 a year. Yeah, so if you can pay £12 a year, paying £1 a month, fantastic, okay? The other project is a Just Giving type setup, and again, that's if you want to donate to Urban Equestrian in relation to us trying to get land. What we're trying to basically say is, what Scraptoft Hill Farm is beautiful, and we need to have that same kind of setup out in the country for ourselves, where we feel comfortable ourselves. We need to be out there connecting with nature. Yes, we want to bring horses to the city, but that's another thing that we came to learn. We're still going to need somewhere out in the country for ourselves, okay? So let us get our own land out in the country for ourselves, where we feel comfortable, by us, for us. Check it out, okay? All right, so present situation. Horses, ponies stretched across different locations. As a result, our team is very stretched across these locations, okay? No, Renee, take that one down. Don't need to show that one. Take that one down. This is present situation again. Now, the notice to quit, meaning the NTQ that was issued to us, is illegal, okay? It's illegal. Why is it illegal? Because when we first came to the site, one of the conditions the renters put on us was that no contracts get signed, okay? We was desperate to move, okay? We had to move. However, from when it changed from private use to commercial use, after we helped them get the planning permission working with them, they should have issued us with a commercial business lease, okay? And even though they didn't, they verbally did, okay? By literally allowing us to rent out those stables, we have what's called a commercial business lease. Now, under a commercial business lease, you're entitled to 6 months notice. 6 months. Not 1 month, not 3 months, 6 months, okay? So, what's gonna happen? We will be officially issuing the Renner family with a letter, a legal letter, or a letter that will be letting them know that we will be taking legal action, yeah, if they try to sell our horses, ponies, equipment, or chattel after the 14th, okay? Not only that, if they attempt anything at all like that, these animals, the equipment belongs to the community, the inner city community. So I'll strongly advise them not to do that, because there will be protest. There will be protest. They don't belong to me, they belong to the inner city community of Leicester. Okay? So they really need to think very carefully about what they want to do after the 14th. The letter that we will issue them has caused extreme panic amongst staff, supporters, sponsors and members, particularly young people, who have been in tears wondering where the horses are going to go and whether or not they'll be disposed of, okay? Now, moving on to solutions. After speaking to the British Horse Society's legal team, a few solicitors and lawyers in relation to being based where we are, like I stated, the runners will be issued with this letter from ourselves. That letter will state, again, as a result of the NTQ not being legal, we won't acknowledge it. We don't acknowledge it. It will give them a number of criteria that they will need to accept. One of them being to issue us with a legal NTQ. And like I stated, we don't accept it. Now, we have a meeting with the city mayor or the city mayor's team next week where we will be just working on a few little things, and that hopefully should push us over the line to get the land that they basically offered us, that we've been working on for the last 4 years. We're very excited in regards to that because they're making all the right noises. We just need to get it finally over the line, and then we can get this piece of land in the inner city, okay, and start developing that land, which again, the pound is sound, would help with the development costs associated with that, okay? Now, brings us on to the stopgap, okay, that may take a bit of time. So what's gonna happen now? Okay, we're very pleased to say that we have found a solution in terms of moving our herd, and we're very pleased to also say that the solution is that we've been offered to move our herd to a piece of land which is just around the corner from where we are. Happy with that. However, this land doesn't have any stables on it, doesn't have any field shelters on it. So what we are going to do, we want to galvanize the community. We're going to build our own field shelters on this land so we can move our herd to this land and still stay in the same area. That will be the stopgap until we get our place from the city mayor and until we raise the appropriate funds that we need to raise to help develop these sites. But again, with you donating to these two campaigns, it's going to allow us to cover all of the necessary resources, material, bits and pieces to build these field shelters, build these stables and storage, so we can literally continue doing what we're doing and allow our business to function. Now, however long that takes us, our horses and ponies will remain at Scraptoft Hill Farm. They will remain at Scraptoft Hill Farm, and the runners have a duty of care to ensure that the horses are okay. They need to really watch their tone in relation to how they deal with us and the staff members while we exit Scraptoft Hill Farm, because that's what we want to do. We do want to leave, we want to go, however, we want to go in a reasonable way. Okay, so until these stables are built, shouldn't take too long. We believe this whole month of July, by the end of July, we will have these field shelters, not stables, field shelters built, where we can then move the horses to this new location, okay? And we want to get the whole community, the whole local community, meaning parents, young people, anyone who isn't associated with urban equestrian but wants to be, get involved, and let's show the nation, show the media, show the runners and everyone else that we can look after ourselves, we can do this ourselves, and no one's going to stop us. Urban equestrian will prosper and thrive forevermore, okay? one last thing. Tomorrow is going to be a very important day for us. We have the British Racing School coming down to assess 6 of our young people who will be looking to go on the Khadija Mellah Scholarship. Okay, so again, even despite all of this drama, we continue to move forward. Okay, the resilience of this organization will transfer into the young people, and this is what's going to make them the champions of the future. Okay, it's going to make them the champions, because what they've been through, what they're going through now, and with us paving the way for anyone else that wants to kind of set up an equestrian centre as an ethnic person, enter the equestrian world, they're going to face just as much rubbish, okay? And this is going to make them tough to stand up to that rubbish, okay? So I'm looking forward to when the young people start competing, because if they can deal with this, that's going to be a breeze for them. Okay, so just want to thank everyone for coming. I'm going to ask any questions and stuff.
Yeah, so anyone in the room want to ask questions or have anything to say?
If anyone wants to ask questions, please raise your hands and I will unmute you. There is a raise hand feature on Zoom. If you click more, there's an option to raise your hand.
Okay, so I do have a few questions here that have come through on here. Will you send a copy of the... Sorry, 1 second. I've got questions here. They've been sent to me. Okay, so... 1 second. You know, it says, will you send a copy of the meeting recording? Yes, we will. I think we'll upload it.
Yeah. This is being recorded, so we'll send the link out everywhere and anywhere in relation to social media, and there'll be bits and pieces of the recording all over social media as well.
Yeah, Matt asked, sounds like Mr. Renner has verbally assaulted many people. Isn't this a criminal offence? We can look into that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Nadia asked, is there a tenancy contract in place?
No, he wasn't allowed to have one. He made it a condition, he wasn't allowed to have one.
Matt asked, can't there be a collective complaint to the police about Mr. Renner? Irrespective of the outcome of being at the farm, surely this man should not be allowed to verbally assault people, especially where children are involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I was wondering is, in relation to him being granted planning permission to run equestrian services in the equestrian centre, could that planning permission possibly be revoked? Could it be revoked? Because, you know, he has no care for staff, animals, or young people, and if there's any way it could be revoked, maybe that's something that needs looking at.
We have a question, yeah.
Quick question, because I gotta leave for to pick up myself. Question number 1, when you guys put in planning permission for business, you will need his approval, right? He has to approve.
Yeah.
Right, so that says to me that he has approved for you to get business approval.
Mm-hmm.
So you have just shot himself in his foot.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So because of that, automatically, you have a legal
That's correct. Yeah.
lease.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Implicit lease.
Is given
Yes.
the application. Secondly, is just ask if they can revoke. Yes, that could happen.
Okay. So we will approach Harbour Borough Council
That could happen.
to get them to look at that, because again, during the whole process of planning permission, Urban Equestrian had to submit a lot of information. It was very stressful. You know, a very stressful process. So again, we'll go back to Harbour Borough Council and ask them to again look at the planning permission granted to Mr. Allen.
That could happen. Tomorrow, if it's possible, if I could have one of your staff member
Yeah, man.
to see me for 1 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is-
So in case anybody's wondering, okay, this is David. And David has the land that we will be moving to. A black man. And support his business, because he has many goats and chickens for sale. Kobani, he's coming up.
David, you got any goat's cheese?
Very soon.
Thank you.
Okay, so you have the urban cowboy, you have the urban farmer.
I think it's really good what
Just round the back.
what I'm seeing here. I mean,
Right there, yeah.
seeing so much young people as well. I really didn't expect to see so many people, to be honest. Because of, I mean, coming to England, I've been in Leicester all my life. And I know for a fact that when it comes to Black Afro-Caribbean people, we don't support each other. I know that for a fact. So seeing this, I
You worked hard, man. You worked hard.
I'm very impressed. My boys are excited for you guys to come. So just hurry up and do it.
Come in.
I gotta love you, leave you, because I gotta pick up my boy just on the road there.
See you tomorrow.
So just tell me later. And
Yeah, man.
I have to get one person, just one person.
Yeah, man, we done, man. You get more than one person.
The councillor for the area
Yeah,
will be out there tomorrow.
fantastic, brilliant.
Right? So guys, lovely young people, brilliant job.
See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so another question was, is there a tenancy agreement? One second. Has Renner ever disclosed any policy documents to the yard manager?
Never, never disclosed any policy documents. All these policies that started appearing as we're progressing and doing things. Grassland policy, dog policy, noise policy, yeah.
Are you looking for investors that could help with land issues, Stackhouse, entertainment?
Of course, Rick.
Yes.
Come on, man. You don't know, Mike G.
You got this, the link is in the chat box. Thank you. Can I please ask, are the horses safe? Can something legally be put in place for their welfare?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we've spoke to the British Horse Society. They're aware of the situation now. They gave us the advice that we've stated to you. The letter that will be issued to the renners is based on the advice that we've received from the British Horse Society. I forgot the lady's name, but I've got it jotted down. Okay, so it's based on her advice, and yeah, absolutely. And she's a lawyer. Yeah.
What was the other question? How much is it currently costing to be at your current location? That's
So we pay the Renner family approximately £1,000 a month to face the foolishness that we faced there. Yeah, and that includes a percentage and a cut of the business profits. It has done since we've been there.
Okay, I'm assuming that's an electronic transaction.
What's that?
When you pay your rent and everything.
Yeah.
Electronic transaction.
Yeah.
That in itself is a contract.
Yeah.
They're earning profit of your
business. Yeah, and we have all that evidence also. So if we do need to go to court, then we've got all that. We have all that information. Yeah.
And I know we've suggested like solutions that we're strategizing, but if anyone else has any ways in which you think you can formulate strategy, or you're thinking, okay, well, this would be a good idea, feel free to speak to us, obviously people in the room, anybody else, email us, info@fwines. Renee, can you put the email address in the chat box? Or
Renee.
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 I said Renee.
Not Renee.
I
Renee.
didn't say Renee.
You said Renee. You said not Renee. Oh my God.
At least he's laughing. Sorry, I didn't even hear myself say that. This Renee guy. No,
Yeah, please. Yeah,
sorry,
our website.
Everyone's chatting Renee's name
Email
too
address.
much.
Yeah, website.
It's in my subconscious. Okay. But yeah, just keep in touch with us. But literally, any media people. Matt's in there. I don't know if Matt's still there, but he's someone from. He's a filmmaker, so he's going to be doing certain things for us. We just need to get viral, and at the same time, let people know about all the good work that's been going on. We want to create a massive, big platform for the academy, for all the young people that come through the doors. Do you know? And let's just make sure we utilize this hiccup to create like blessings out of this.
Yeah. And just to answer Jade's question just there, in relation to that, Jade, what I would say is that we hold the renners accountable for the safety of our horses while they're on their land. So yes, they need to do whatever they need to do.
That's a legal duty, isn't it?
That's their legal duty, absolutely. Okay, so they're responsible for that. And if anything was to happen, there's serious consequences. I also received an anonymous phone call from somebody threatening Urban Equestrian, and I stated to that person, we hold him responsible as well as the runners for the care of our horses. So yeah.
Let's just say, you could probably put a petition together, can't you, you know, for the welfare of the horses? You know, when you presented it to the council,
Yeah.
in the sense of that you don't feel that they're safe under the care of Renan and his family.
Well, I mean, they've been safe for the duration of this being there.
And after it's
Yeah, yeah, you know, that's something for them to look at, really. You know, while we're there during the daytime, they're safe and whatnot. After working hours, that's totally up to them. And again, you know, it will go down a process of court and stuff like that if anything was to happen to them. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's fine. And then Atia asked, why are you Freedom accepting the ban as you're legally renting the property and paying for rent? Has he the legal right to ban you?
Okay, so like I stated, I accepted the ban at the time because we was biding for time, yeah? And not only that, there's people who were linked to, you know, their income, you know, they receive a payment and stuff like that. People's livelihoods is linked to this. It wasn't just a case of just not accepting the ban and then all of this would have happened even earlier. It actually gave me time, and it also gave the team time to develop. Okay, so me not being there has actually strengthened the team massively. Team's very strong now, super strong, and I'm super proud of them. And it also gave me time to go and sit down with the city mayor and keep banging on his door, sitting down with him and making him push things forward. So now that Urban Equestrian has been turfed off, kicked off and all the rest of it, I don't accept the ban. Okay, the ban was illegal anyway, but I don't accept the ban. And the letter that will be issued to the runners will say that.
So you're going to go back in?
I'm not necessarily, I don't want to make the tension worse than it already is, yeah? But in relation to making the transition from Scraptoft Hill Farm to our new base, I will have to go there from time to time, and I ain't afraid to go there neither, and they better just behave themselves.
Can I just say, I'm sorry, because I've been there this morning with 2 of the volunteers, and he's already locked the gate, so we're not able to access the farm. So we have to kind of like go in from the side. And he's always at the window with his binoculars, just watching everyone.
Why
Yeah,
why is it on the gate then? Is that for no transport?
Yeah, so it's
Stop vehicles,
So
basically.
how can you be allowed to do that?
This is actually illegal though. Like
It's his farm, innit? Another thing, he probably thought there would be a big angry mob heading down there. Yeah, today, you understand me? Yeah, and that didn't happen. But again, after the 14th, yeah, he better just look after our horses. He's thinking about selling our chattel and horses and equipment, then there's gonna be a protest, there will be a reaction.
I just wanted to ask.
Hold on. There's a brother
sorry.
right at the back. Yes,
Sorry, I
bro.
didn't see you.
Not you, Mo, the brother behind and then you, yeah?
Oh, I see that. Freedom, a couple of things. I think the letter we're going to give them, have we got anything from the British Law Society in writing? If we have, we should get something and include that in the letter to show support from them.
Yeah, well, in terms of the conversation that I had, it's free legal advice, but they can't issue nothing formally. So I just took down the lady's name. So the letter has been structured. It's not just based on British Law Society, it's also based on speaking to solicitors and lawyers. Okay? So we're not just going to depend on one person or organisation. It's a combination of speaking to solicitors, lawyers that know about commercial leases and stuff like that, as well as the British Horse Society, and we can tag names to the letter to say that's what the letter is based on.
Okay, and also I think we should mention in them the safety of the horses will become their responsible, legally tell them
100%.
that this will be your responsibility. You don't have access after the 14th.
Oh yeah.
To look after the animals. So
Yeah.
we should put that in writing to them.
The letter's already been structured, okay, but because there may be a possibility that this might go to court, if they don't accept it, then we can't really share it. You understand? Yeah? Because it's a very well-worded letter, speaking all that court language, government language, so to speak. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to understand.
Hold on, Renee, hold on.
Sorry.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, go on then, Renee.
I just wanted to add in that obviously with in regards to the sites, it has been mentioned that anyone who might want to take matters into their own hands, we encourage you not to go to the site unless you're part of the team or instructed to, just because it is a legal matter and we don't, obviously everyone's emotional, everyone's upset, but there are other ways that you can help us. The links to our supports in the chat, but please no one take matters into your own hands in terms of trying to access the site or other things.
Yeah, you're hearing that, Riff, yeah? Don't take matters into your own hands, bruh. And everyone else out there. Man them. Chill, calm, we got this. We got this. Camila has her hand up. We'll come to you after, Mo. Camila's got a hand up. Can she speak? Can you unmute her, Renee?
Yeah, I'll mute her now.
It's alright, Rani's just perfectly conveyed my message.
Okay. Okay, wicked. Okay, Mohammed.
From now till you move on to the next slide, you'll be carrying on the program no matter what possible, right? Which means the young people will still be on the line, correctly?
No, so we've switched our attention to building the field shelters and the storage unit, yeah? So only the advanced young people will be looking after the horses, whilst all the other young people, parents and so on, will be getting involved in helping to build these field shelters and stuff like that, and just literally get in touch with us, whether it's through email, social media, our WhatsApp groups. If you want to get involved in terms of helping build the field shelters, helping build the storage unit, and prepare this new site as our temporary stopgap, come, get involved. We've already got 5 key people. 3 carpenters and a person that fits doors and windows. So they already know what they're doing and said they can do it quite easily. Yeah? So we just want to get it done, but we don't just want those 4 people to do it. Yeah? We want Shay, O'Shea, we want Zaina, you know what I mean? We want Jamal, we want Isa, we want everyone to come and bring your hammer and your nails, and we're gonna knock up the thing, yeah? And we do it for ourselves. And then when we're ready to move again, the way we're going to structure these field shelters and the storage unit is, again, the 4 key people who are leading the project, they've already said we're going to knock it up in such a way that when it's time to move, we can actually dismantle it, simple, stack it up, and just move it to the new unit. Yeah? So that's what we're doing. We're going to get BBC News, Leicester Mercury, and Sky Sports, and everyone can come and watch us do it. Yeah? There you go. Cool.
Yeah, so definitely people drop us an email, stay in touch, just keep in touch with us about anyone who'd like to volunteer. And to do that, someone's asked, those of us with limited funds, what can we do? How can we help with labour or volunteering, etc.? Exactly that. But also at the same time, if you have limited funds as well, then a good thing that people can do is talk to your people and organise a fundraising event, do fundraisers and get us involved, get people to come down, talk at your fundraiser, whether it's in London, Manchester, wherever you are. You know what I mean? Even if you're not national, you can we can do like a projecting board, get freedom to talk to your people. We need that kind of support, so definitely do your own fundraisers and then put it into the land ownership fund. That would be really appreciated.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to ask Freedom, for us to tweet or write to Peter Soulsby to put pressure on him. Do you think that would be a good thing?
No, because what's really speeded this whole process up is the whole Black Lives Matters madness that kicked off after George Floyd, yeah? Okay? You know how we had the Black Lives Matters protests in Leicester? Okay? Well, that made Peter Soulsby pay attention anyway, you understand? So I sit on a board because I do more than just urban equestrian. I'm also an activist and stuff like that, yeah? So I sit on a board that consists of looking at inequalities linked to Black Lives Matters and stuff like that, okay? As a result of that, this is how Urban Equestrian kind of got speeded up, so to speak, okay? So I know he is serious, he's very, very, very serious. It's not even about him anymore, it's about us, okay? He's asked us for certain things, he's promised us certain things, we just need to deliver. I'm sitting down with his deputy, city mayor, next week, his right-hand man, and a couple other people. We got a Zoom meeting next week, and then we're sitting down together, and then within 2 weeks, I would say, we will have what Peter Soulsby's asked us for, and then he's going to make an instruction to do what he needs to do. I really want to reveal the site that he's actually going to give us, because it's going to be massive for Leicester, but I just can't. Not yet, okay? But be very excited. Everyone who's tuning in now, getting bored, yeah? Trust me, because it's going to be a big thing that's going to reshape Leicester, yeah? When I can finally brag about it, okay? So, yeah.
I have one. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it was just a quick one based on what you just said about people wanting to do something if they've not got funds. I think it might be worth setting up a change.org petition anyway, so that people that haven't got anything, you might as well gather names that are supporting you anyway. So if you need to take it to anyone, you have a list of all the names that you can say all these people in the community support. So even if it's not just by funding, maybe just start a petition anyway, so people can put their name to your cause.
Yeah, definitely. And again, like on social media, just utilize your social media platforms and amplify what we're already doing. That's really important. And I just wanted to ask as well, like, is one of our fights at the moment, I know our horses are displaced and everything, and if we're not adhering to this so-called get out of by 14th July, our horses are getting sold, and obviously at the moment we're a bit uncomfortable about where our horses currently are, but at the same time, is getting all our horses together, is that not a part of the fight?
Yeah, again, the letter that we're going to be issuing to the renners, again after speaking to the British Horse Society, the renners, based on us legally having a contract with them along the lines of a commercial lease, legally, the new horses that we bought should be able to go to Scraptoft Hill Farm, okay? So, if they're still not allowed to go to Scraptoft Hill Farm in relation to all of this madness and tension, then if we take them to court, one of the things that we are legally allowed to do is make them pay the costs that are associated with the horses being elsewhere. They have to pay for that, yeah? Okay.
That's fine. Does anyone else want to say anything?
I think it's getting late now
Yeah.
to take 2 more questions. 2 more questions, yeah?
News articles, like newspaper articles, media articles, are you able to release that to members for us to distribute to people we know?
PR releases, so press releases.
Yeah, we've got that already set up.
We're going to release.
It's going to be going out.
Are you going to
after
put a
this.
media pack together? So if you put tweets and Instagram posts together, you just send them out. It's easy for people to just copy and paste stuff.
Yeah,
as
definitely.
Because sometimes people are lazy to put something together themselves, but if it's there already, it's easy to just copy and paste.
Definitely. I think because of timing. Okay, nice call.
Also, just to say, yeah, in terms of keeping the momentum and stuff, what's our vision? What's our long-term vision? Our long-term vision is to bring horses to the city, yeah? So you will start seeing our horses in the city very soon, okay? So our advanced young people, we have, there's a project that we have to literally get some of our ponies and horses in the city. Very, very soon, you will see me and some of the young people riding Goliath, Pocahontas, and whoever else up and down Bartholomew Street, Derwent Street, yeah? It's coming very soon, and that's going to obviously attract a lot of attention, yeah? We'll be bringing horses to all of the young people's schools and all the rest of it. In relation to what's going on right now, that's going to happen sooner rather than later.
We also have donation boxes here, so anyone who'd like to just donate can.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a
you
little
can
bit.
go home and make the better transfers, but yeah.
All right, and one more question, is it?
Is there anything else in the chat? Or was there somebody else in the room? Oh,
I just wanted to ask, so last week in the theory session, the kids thought it'd be a good idea to start a hashtag that we could get trending. Freedom, any particular hashtag you think would work?
I was going to say something then, you know. Let me think, yeah, because something came impulsively just a minute ago.
Horses
Yeah.
to hood. Horses to hood. Bringing the horses to the city.
Yeah, horses to the hood.
What's the horse?
Not everyone lives in the hood though, man. We can't jump in like in the hood, man. Yeah, we're trying to get out of the hood. I ain't trying to go back there. Okay, so again, just want to thank everyone for coming through. You're all being updated in relation to what we've had to go through for the last year. There'll be many more challenges. The challenge is continuous forever. But again, it's for us to take on these challenges, do this now for the generations of the future, to just find it easy. Okay? Yeah?
Let your work colleagues know, all them people that you saw put up little black boxes last year and say Black Lives Matter, and they haven't. Please send that to them as well. Make sure that
language.
Pardon my language, sorry. Sorry, I just got a bit too passionate. But yeah.
Horse lives matter.
Horse lives matter. 100, bro. Hashtag.
I think you've got to do save the. It has to be what's on the tin. Say hashtag save the Urban Equestrian Academy. It has to be, because that's when people know
The
what
Urban
this really.
Equest.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll put all that out
Galvanize
soon.
that.
But yeah, please just keep circulating. Not just today. Keep it going in a week. We need the momentum continuing.
Okay, but just lastly to say, anyone thought Urban Equestrian was finished and that, you know, it's the end of it, like what did the news say? Come to the final furlong? Nah, bruv, not at all, yeah? Keep the movement. Boom, gone. Okay, thank you.
Yes.